Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. I need to give the chicken house a good clean and I need to harvest some chicken compost. But I can't let the chickens go free in the garden because they'll just completely wreck the place. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a little pen out of this chicken wire. And all I've got is some posts from the very first greenhouse that we had. So these are the tin aluminium frames that are left over. So I'm just going to use those and I'm going to post those into the ground. And we're going to make a little pen for the chickens to we're going to make a little pen for the chickens to roam around free on this grass. So just keep watching and I'll show you how much chicken compost we harvest.
Why are you making this?
Making a little pen for the chicken. That's more like that.
Dad, make the noise again. I did. There might be someone here, you know.
There's none left in there.
Well, there's 3 eggs. Hey!
If I show you this chicken compost, if I just peel back this top layer, where all the big chunky pieces are. If I peel back, it's all dry, so this stuff isn't breaking down as much because it's very dry. But if you look at that, that's where I've been adding all the grass and all the leaves and everything else. Don't know where that's come from. Probably my son's been throwing that in. So that's probably Zaki's work. So what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to start sifting it and we'll see how much we collect. So that's all the rough stuff off the top.
I don't think they will be able to eat all of them.
It's quite dusty, so it's good to have the dust mask on both sides.
So fun. I did it. I took it, you know. Every time, wait. I just and they landed in their tail.
One section, what we'll do with all this rough stuff at the top is we'll pull this over and we'll move on to the next section and then the next section and then the next section, carry on like that. I'll start on this side. Now that side's ready to be sifted, so what I'll do is I'll pile it all over here and then when I'll pile it all over here and it won't get in the way of that stuff there. So we're nearly 3/4 of the way there now. We've just got this little corner left. You'll see how bone dry it is, and it'll never break down when it's as dry as this. So what we'll do is we've got the water being collected from the rain, The rain's started now, so we'll chuck the water from the rain onto this and see if we can get this soaking again. It smells in a bit here, a little bit, even though it is deep litter. It does smell in here. It hasn't been turned around and no one's gone this deep for a while, so it is a bit stagnant. The smell, it is a bit stale. So we'll just carry on finishing this. The rain's coming down too heavy now for us to carry on today. You might have seen people use this deep bedding in the States. Now in the States, they can use food scraps, they can use all kinds of different things. Now in the UK, we're not allowed to use anything that's been in our kitchen. So anything that's been through our kitchen, unless you're a vegan household, you can't use your food scraps. So in the UK, what with the wood chips, we use any grass clippings, anything from the garden, so garden waste, any sort of household, well, nothing from the house, any garden waste, any leaves, any hedge trimmings, any of that goes in here. We're not, any food scraps and stuff like that, we can't put in here, so that goes to the worms. I'll show you how much chicken compost that we've harvested today. So this is what we've harvested. We've managed to harvest half a ton bag. Well, just over half a ton bag. It's about 2/3. I've been using my Badger Claw gloves. I'll leave a link to those in the description. But yeah, we've managed to harvest just over half, about 2/3 of finished product. I'll show you what that looks like. Look how fine it is. What we'll do with that is we'll leave that to sit for a while. Let it wet, because as soon as that gets wet, it's going to heat up. So we'll let it get wet and let the heating up process happen, and that'll break it down even further. And we're not going to use this until next year. We might chuck some worms in here and let the worms at it. And this is all the rough stuff that's just going to get raked back inside. So that's going to go back inside, and then we'll cap it off with a layer of fresh wood chips. Rainy, so we had to stop. So this is the amount of chicken compost that we've harvested. So it's just over about 2/3 full. So it's not bad. I mean, we didn't harvest the whole lot. We probably could have filled this bag, but we stopped because it was raining. So, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to start putting this to some use, because I've got some radishes to plant. So look at that. I can put this to use straight away. I mean, my intention was to just leave it for a little bit. It's had a good rain, so it's getting a bit of colour into it now. It's had a bit of rain and I can already feel the heat in this. Now this is the reason that I wouldn't want to use this, but as a mulch it's okay. I'll show you where I'm going to use it. I'm going to use it where I pulled out the volunteer potatoes. That's where we're going to use it. This is where we dug the volunteer potatoes out. I mean, we did have to dig them out. So so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to break these clumps up and I'm going to stick that on top as a mulch. There we go. That's that soil covered. I'll pick those onion leaves up so it's not covering them. That's a good inch of compost there. We'll plant a load of radishes there now, so I'll let my mum just come and sprinkle the radishes, and I'll get back to cleaning the chicken coop. So we've pulled the old wood chips back in, and things like this is all going here. Sods of grass. I mean, this is, as you can see in there, there's loads of couch grass roots. I'm just going to leave that in there. The chickens will completely deal with it. So there's a risk of blight, and what I've done is, in order to increase the airflow around the potato plants, we've cut the foliage in half, and all that potato leaves are just going to get trampled down in here. I mean, the chickens won't eat it, so I don't have to worry about that. But what they will do is they will trample it down and they'll mix it in with the other wood chips, and in about 2 months I'll be able to harvest a load more chicken compost before winter sets in. And that's what I'll keep doing. We'll keep stacking stuff in here, garden waste, things like this. We'll just pile it in here and let the chickens deal with it for us, turn it into compost. I've run out of space in my compost pile, so this is my other compost pile.